Hello everyone and welcome back to the Coding Amateur. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 more playbooks: basic secure, add VPS user, remove VPS user. And I think that this will be a great addition to the playbook that we created in the previous video. So without much further ado, let's jump into it. And we're going to start with the basic.secure or basic-secure playbook. basic-secure.yml, right? Basic secure. Okay, and let me copy and paste that. Right, so I have it here, and I'm going to just paste the command in here, and we will go through it just as I did before. So this file is much bigger. Now, for those who would have watched my previous video, it would have covered the basic security steps in hardening your VPS. So I would have covered creating a sudo user, disabling the root account, enabling your UFW firewall, open up the ports that you need like HTTP, HTTPS, SSH. Also, it would have entailed changing the default SSH port to something more obscure, and also installing fail to ban. Okay, so I thought to myself, what if I could recreate all of that in a playbook? So I don't have to log into my VPS and do each one of those one by one. What if Ansible could run all of that for me? And this worked really well. Okay, so we see here we have our basic Ansible information. So the name of this playbook: update harden Ubuntu VPS security configuration. Our hosts, VPS demo, that's consistent with the host file, VPS demo. And gather facts true. So it's going to print out the information that it collects from the server. Okay. We have here a prompt. Now I'm going to jump over that prompt for now, and then I'm going to come back to it as I go through this playbook. So under task, or first task would be to generate a random password. So we have, remember, in our 4 basic steps, which I outline, I have to create a sudo user and then disable the root account. So Ansible is going to do that for me. So I'm telling Ansible to generate a random password. Now you see this here set fact. Set fact is again one of the built-in features into the core Ansible language. And what that simply does is it creates a variable that we could store data inside of. So the variable that I'm setting is new admin password, and then I'm going to run the string to create a random password, and I'm going to store that in new admin password. So that's what setFact does. The next task is to ensure the custom admin user exists. So I'm going to use Ansible built-in user. So let's jump back into our documentation. Okay, so let's go to Ansible built-in. We're already in Ansible built-in, and let's go to user. All right, let's go down to user. Right, and this is the user module right here. And if we look at this, let's look at the parameter. So we have name. So if we go down, you will see name here, name of the user to create, remove, or modify. We have password. If provided, set the user's password to the provided encrypted hash Linux or plain text password on macOS, right? And you could read all of the information here. We have shell. Shell we'll be using is bin/bash. That shell is here. You'd see shell, which is the path, right? And look, it's here, bin/bin/bash. State, we have our state here, whether the account should exist or not. Okay, so it could be present or it could be absent. Present is default, but I've put it in. and then what group we want to add this user to. So let's go back up and look for groups. Look, we have right groups here, a list of supplementary groups which a user is also a member of. So we could, so it will append to that group, right? Sudo, and append is true. So if true, add the user to the group specified in groups, and that's it. All right. So we are going to add the user. Now you would notice for name here, I have custom admin user. All right, so let's jump back to this here, which is the vars_prompt. So I could create a random username, and I could create a string that could do that. But I felt that I wanted the username to be easily understood, because what I would have to generate is like admin underscore and then a random set of characters, and that would be a username. But I may really want the username to reflect admin dash system or admin dash assistant, or something more intuitive. So this way, when the task is running, it will prompt you for the username, and that way you could put in a username that is better suited for your needs, and then it will automatically create the password for that username. All right. Now you would see a command here, allow the admin user to use sudo without a password prompt. Now that is a feature I added because in the future I want to use this user in my Coolify setup. Now Coolify requires the root account to be enabled in order to run administrative tasks, because Coolify is not going to put in the password every time it has to execute an administrative task on the server. So it needs the administrative privilege without having to put in the password. I don't want the root account enabled on my VPS, so I've disabled it, but I have to create another account that can execute administrative tasks without a password prompt. Okay, so that's the thought process behind this. Okay, that user will also have, I will also have to set up keys, SSH keys as well. So it's a little more technical when coming to Coolify on that end, but when we reach there, I'll explain everything for those who are following along in my videos, right? So for this one, we'll have to modify the sudoers file. Okay, now you will see Ansible bulletin copy. So by now you know the drill. Ansible.bulletin is the collection, copy is the module, and these are the parameters, the content. What we want to do is not modify a line in the file, but we want to add a line to the file. So this is the line that we want to add. The name of the user and all equal all, no password all. You would notice a -n. So this is a new line character, or it causes a break. So it tells Linux that this is the end of this line. If you don't do that, it's going to create an error because Linux is going to be looking for that. All right, so I hope that makes sense. And this, right, and this here, let me scroll back up, sorry about that. And this here is the destination, the file we want to add the line to, and you would see mode. Now mode here is the permission that we want this to have. So this is where we could specify the permission, 0755, 600, and so on. And then we validate. Okay, all these are parameters within the copy module. All right. So as we go further, I will not be going into each one in detail. I think that you get the idea of how you create a task and how it's structured and how to go about getting the information to do what you need to get done. So I'm just going to simply highlight the different tasks we are going to do. So after creating the user and password, we want to configure the firewall, which was the next step. So we want to reset the default settings. Then we want to set the default policy. So we're going to deny everything incoming. Then we're going to open up the ports that we need. So we only will allow incoming traffic on the ports that we open. So we're going to open HTTP, which is port 80. We're going to open port HTTPS. And here is where we're going to use our new custom port, which is 2222. So we're going to open up this port, which means that by default, port 22 is going to be blocked. Now you need to remember that. We're going to now enable the firewall. And what this will do, it will allow the firewall to start on boot. Okay. Right. So having done that, we want to install fail to ban. And for that, we're going to Ansible bulletin, app module, name of the package, present. Yes, we want that to happen. And then we want to update the cache, right? Again, we want to start fail to ban on boot. So we go to the service module, state started, and enable true. So fail to ban will start on boot. Here we want to tell Linux that we have changed the port from 22, which is the default, to 2222. We want to tell our OS system which port to listen on. So the first thing, we have to go to the SSHD config. And with what this regex is going to do, is going to search for that line, which is port, there's a line port 22, is going to search for that. And then it's going to give the information that you want to put on that line, or you want to change that line to. So we're changing it from port 22 to port 2222. All right, state present. Now, what we also want to do, we want to disable the root SSH login completely. Now that we have created a sudo user, we can log back in with the sudo user. We have to do that task first so that we don't lock ourselves out. So we go to Ansible bulletin collection and then the line in file, which is the module. And again, we execute these. This here regex, it searches for permit root login, and then this line here changes it to no. Right? Good. We have to create system override directory for SSH socket. Now, why I had to do that? Now, these two tasks had to be done. The reason being, when I first did it and I tried to log back in, even though I changed the port in the SSHD config, when I tried to log back in on the new port, it wasn't going through. And the reason being, I did not tell the Linux system to listen on port 2222. I changed the port, but I didn't tell the system to listen on the port. And that's what these two files do, which is number 6. So fix the system, these sockets interpreter, right? And so while I tried to log into Terminus, I wasn't getting through at all. So this helped to fix that. So it listens now on the port 2222 on both IP version 4 and IP version 6. All right. And I had to state also the directory and the mode, which is the permission, right? I had to do that on both of these. So these two files allows Linux to listen on port 2222. So that is essential. Okay. So I'm also forcing the system daemon to reload to register the changes, right? So systemd service and daemon reload true. Also, I want to restart the SSH sockets infrastructure cleanly. So that's what I'm doing here. And then I want to restart the main SSH service daemon. That's what I'm doing here. Now, this part here is critical. After Ansible runs all of these tasks, it should have for you the sudo name or the sudo username and the new password. So this information, so you would see here Ansible built-in, which is the collection, and the debug module allows you to print out a message. And this is the message. Now, the information I get from this is what I'm going to save on my file that I have open here with my VPS configuration. So I'm going to enter the sudo username here and my password. So when I have to log back in, and also my new SSH port. So when I have to log in, I will have this information available. All right. So let's save that. All right. And let us execute our playbook again. So I went through the playbook. So I'm just going to use the up arrow to bring up my pass command. Now, if you should do that, you have to change the playbook that you are referring to. So I just would have run the app update playbook. I am now going to run the basic secure playbook. All right, and let's see what happens. All right, I'm going to run the basic secure playbook. All right, and let me just inspect everything. Make sure that I am set up correctly. My file is saved, and I'm going to hit enter. It's going to once again ask me for my root password, which I'm going to give it. And just hit enter again because it's the same, right? And now it's asking me for the custom username. So I'm going to put in admin demo, right? Admin demo. Okay, and that's just because it's a demo account, right? So I hit enter and it says play. It's gathering the facts. All right, and it gives us the information. Generate random password, and it's going right. Reset UFW to default settings. Right, open port 80. Right, open port 443. Open new custom SSH port. Enable firewall. Install field to ban. Right. Ensure field to ban service is running, enable on boot. Configure SSH port to use custom port, right? Disable root SSH login completely. Create system override. Socket configuration. Force system daemon reload. Restart SSH sockets infrastructure cleanly. Restart main SSH service daemon. And it gave us our pseudonym. So it's at the base here. So remember, you have to record this. So I'm going to go to my file. I'm going to put admin_demo. And I'm going to copy my password. And I'm going to put my password here. All right. And my port is 2222. And I'm going to type in exit. You notice it's not working. I can't type anything. So that means this window has frozen because it is disconnected. So I'm going to close off this window, go back to my config here. And instead of root, I'm going to put in admin_demo. And I'm going to put in my password. And I'm going to hit connect. And let's see what happens. Oh, I must change my port to 2222. You know what? Let me try to connect on port 22. Okay, so nothing happens, right? That should have connected already. You should have seen some activity already. Okay, so it's not connected. Let me close this and let me put the port that I changed it to, and let me connect. Right, and we are in. And you notice my new user is admin_demo. I have two more playbooks for you guys. Let me just clear. So another playbook that I have, that would be add-vps-user.yml. Okay, and let me just no, I'm not going to go in depth in this file. I think we would have covered the structure of the playbook. So this is the code. Now what I will do is I will post all of the code, or I should say the playbooks, in a post that I normally create on dev.to and Coder Legions, and as well Hashnode. So I'll put links into the description if you just want, in case you are following this video and you want to follow up and you want to copy the code and paste it in instead of typing it out manually. I will put links to the posts that will have the code in them. All right. So I'm not going to go into this one in depth. I'm just going to save it. And this code is going to create, is going to ask for a username, and it's going to create a a random password, and it's going to add the user to the sudo group. Okay. Now this could be useful if you are managing a server and you need to add another admin on that server. You could easily just spin up another admin and give them the credentials. Okay, so let's pull back up. I'm just going to use up arrow to bring back up that command. No, in this case, I have to change three things. I have to change the playbook name, so it's going to be add-vps-user. I have to change the user, which is no longer root, but it's now admin_demo, and I have to change the port, which is 2222. All right, so that should be it. Let me just verify the commands. I've changed the playbook that I am targeting. I've changed the user to admin demo, and I have changed the port to what it's supposed to be. So let's enter, and I have to use my new password for this sudo user. So let me copy, hit enter, and enter again, and I have to give it, so I'll name this admin_assist and hit enter, and let's see what is happening here. Okay, all right, and you would see that it created admin assist and it created the password. So this was successful. So if I go to my Termius account, or I go to Termius and I go to my VPS, let's see if we could look at the groups and see who are the users in the groups. To see the users in the sudo group, let's go get ent group, and it's going to be sudo. Let's hit enter. Right, so you see admin demo and also admin assist, so it was added. Okay, so my last playbook for you guys would be to remove a user. All right, so let's add another file, and it's going to be remove-vps-user.yml. All right, remove-vps-user, and let me just copy this. All right, so this is my playbook to remove a user. It's going to reverse what I just did. So again, I'm going to up arrow to get the command that I want. All I have to change this time is the playbook that I want to use, and that would be remove VPS playbook, remove VPS user, right? Everything else will remain the same. I'm going to, and remember that you could do this for multiple files. So you will notice in this file, I have hosts all. Now, it's very rare that you'd want to perform that on all the hosts, but it's just to show you that you could do it on more than one managed node if you want to. Okay, so let me hit enter, and it's asking me for my password. Right, empty playbook, nothing to do. Right, so if you look at my playbook here, I did not save it. So you see that white dot there means that it wasn't saved, so the playbook is empty. So I have to save that, Control S, and come back and run the command again. Right, and let me put my password. Right, and I have to enter now the exact name that I want to delete. So it's going to be admin underscore assist. That's the name of the user I want to delete. Hit enter, and it's going to delete that profile. It's also going to delete it from the sudo group as well. The success message, account admin assist and their sudo privileges have been completely purged from the server. All right. So if we go back to our VPS and let's put back in, let's search the sudo group and see what users are there. You'll notice that it's only admin demo because admin dash or admin underscore assist was removed. Okay, so it ran our playbook. So that's it. This is Ansible, and I am really happy with how it works. I intend to use it in the future to speed up my workflow, and I felt that it was something worth sharing with you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. In our next video, we should start installing Qualify on our VPS, which is now hardened, and I think that's going to be an exciting video as well. So continue coding and see you in the next video.